What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? What's good? Hope y'all enjoyed episode 7 and 8 of The Last Dance. Welcome to Crunch Time. I'm your boy Ben Bullock, aka Ben Bulljive. For those who joining me for the first time, Crunch Time, I just kind of came up with this. Ruda, I came up with this idea about a couple weeks ago, going for a jog, and I felt like I needed to kind of sharpen my skills and stay relevant in the sports media world. So I came up with this idea. So shout out to Andrea Wheeler for handling a lot of the branding. And this is week 3, episode 3. So it's been a good thing so far. I mean, I hope that y'all enjoying The Last Dance. I know I am. So shout out to MJ and the guys that putting together this whole thing. Man, it's been a really good documentary in terms of going all the way back to the beginning of MJ's career and a lot of people's careers, to be honest with you, and then bringing it to what it is right now. I know a lot of people don't really agree with like the timeline of the story, but for me, I'm enjoying it, man. So hope all is well. Mano was good. Mario was good. CJ was good. You on second. You know that, man. So obviously, I got the paddle and I got the frat shirt on. This is the Omega Sci-Fi edition. So the last two guests, CJ Holmes and Darren Haynes, they are my frat brothers, which is Omega Sci-Fi Fraternity Incorporated. I met actually all three of these guys, Kevin too, who be coming on first. I met all of them at NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists. It's definitely been probably one of the biggest accomplishments or things that kind of put me over to the next level. I met a lot of great people, man, in terms of helping them build my career and everything. So I think Kev just copped on, so I'm gonna actually get him on right now and everything. So let's see where you at, Kev.
Yo,
Yeah, what's good, boy?
what's good, man? Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I got you good, bro. Got you good, man. What's going on, man?
Oh, man, nothing much. That was good, man. Them 2 episodes was good today.
Bro, that was dope. That 96, that whole Gary Payton thing.
Yeah.
I forgot they was up 3-0 on them. Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, it's crazy looking back because I thought they was up 2-0 and then they won. I forgot 3-0
Exactly.
too.
So
Yeah.
they could have swept them.
Yeah, they could have, really.
That's crazy, bro. How you doing today, man? Everything good?
Everything good, man.
How you doing, Kev? You doing good today, bro? You all right? Man, freezing out here.
Damn, am I losing you?
I got you. Oh, you got me?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
Okay,
I froze
cool,
for a second.
cool.
I'm here.
Yeah, cool. How's your day going so far, man? Everything straight?
Yeah, man, I was good, man. Nice and relaxed, man.
Smooth, bro. So let's hop into this thing, man. So what'd you think about tonight, bro? Episode 7 and 8.
Man, the one thing that sticks out to me is the moment in the locker room with the cigar and the baseball bat.
That's
And
gold status right there.
that's the first thing I thought about. I'm like, that's some GOAT stuff right there. Like, you can hear all the stories and all the myths about Mike, about how psycho he was. But I think for the first time, we really got to see it. Like, he just was sitting there processing all of this with a cigar in the building, lit, by the way. It wasn't just in his hand.
Bro,
He had it lit.
on the way to every game. It felt like.
Yeah, and so see him in the locker room with it lit, like, okay,
Yeah.
in the middle of the playoffs, where you see guys is all laser focused, and he just like, okay, let me see how y'all do this 0-0. Yeah, that was epic.
That's crazy, bro. So tell the people who you are and everything, who you work for, and all that good stuff, and we'll get into something special. What you got lined up, man.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man. So everybody out there that don't know, my name's Kevin Cottrell, man. Work for NBA TV, research, field produce. I've been covering the association for the last 12 years, so I've been around the block for a minute. Been able to interact with a lot of the guys that you actually see in the doc. So, it's been real fun covering the game, man.
So who are those guys you actually interacted with since you work for NBA TV? Like Smitty guys got that game winner knocked on him. So I know
Yeah. So my guy Smitty in there, GP, somebody I worked with since day one. Amar Rashad. Amar was the first person I worked with at NBA Digital, which was cool, having an idol. It's kind of like teach me the ropes. So, been able to interact with a lot of those dudes. See Steve Kerr is crazy. Got to cover that team that won 73 games a lot. So to see him look back and talk about, that team that won 72, it's pretty cool to see the parallel between the two, coming through Steve.
That's crazy, bro. I mean, that to me, just that whole team was just so dope. The 95, 96 year, just MJ's first full season back. And I think that was their second year in the United Center, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So it was just a really great year overall for them. I was happy that they was able to finish that thing off. And like I said, bro, like they were up 3-0. They should have closed that thing out with no problem, which would have been the icing on the cake for that team during that season. So, bro, so you're from Chicago, right?
Yep. Born and
So
raised.
tell me what. So tell me what it was like growing up in the city during that particular time. I also spent some
Man,
time there growing up as well.
man, growing up in the city in the '90s when the Bulls was running, is Kanye kind of like encapsulated in the song "You Can't Tell Me Nothing." Like that's how we felt. You couldn't tell us
Right,
nothing. When the Bulls was playing, it wasn't about whether or not we was going to win. It was about by how many we would win. You
right.
know, when the finals kicked off, we wasn't worried about losing the finals. It was like
No,
when we gonna be able to start partying. So
exactly.
growing up was, it was crazy to have 6 titles. In that span with him playing like that.
Right,
Every full year Mike played in the '90s, the Bulls come out on top. So it
right.
was crazy.
Man, so what was I gonna ask you? So being a Bulls fan. So for me, I'm a lifelong Bulls fan like you. So I moved to Chicago in '98, like the lockout
Okay.
year, bro. So I
Okay.
didn't see MJ at all. I didn't go to
Okay.
like the first game I went to, bro. Like Randy Brown was starting though. It's like in '99, bro. So I
Yeah.
was kind of heated, but at the same time, bro, like you, I was a big Bulls fan, avid listener of like reading the Chicago Tribune even back then,
Hmm.
the stuff that they had online and everything like that. So talk to me a little bit about that book you got, man. For those who don't know what you
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
book
So for
out.
those that don't see over the left shoulder, I got out a book that just
Mm-hmm.
dropped called Ball Don't Lie. And
Yeah.
basically what Ball Don't Lie was about is just to take the fans behind the scenes, kind of like the doc, not to compare it to the doc, but I had the
Right.
opportunity to talk with 10 legends that's connected to the game,
Right.
both the men and women's game, and just get into their mind and see what was it like when they was going through those defining moments that we remember.
Right.
Dennis Scott is one of the people that's featured in the book, and we actually break down the '95 series when they went to
Mm.
Chicago and beat the Bulls and hoisted Horace
Right.
Grant, and just what that whole moment was like for them. So I got 10 different people in the book, everybody from Shaq, Isaiah Thomas, Grant Hill, Vince Carter,
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Scott, Steve Smith, Sam Mitchell, Candace Parker, pitting the forward. I got Tina Thompson, one of the
Wow.
greatest women players ever. And so I was just able to really just sit down and spend some time with them. And each person got their own chapter dedicated to them and tell their story.
Man, so what did Dennis actually say? What did he say about that '95 series? That was huge, man. With the Nick Anderson, still Jordan
Yeah.
switching numbers in the middle of the series and
Yeah.
coming up with
They were.
young Shaq and Penny. So they looked like they were going to go. They were going to take over the East, but they got swept the following year.
Yeah, no, they were all like Horace kind of said. They were all kind of worried when Nick made that comment, like, "Oh man, did he really have to do this?" But Nick being from Chicago, he knew what that meant, what Mike meant to the
Mm-hmm.
city, and what it also meant for him to come back to Chicago and be able to
Right.
pull something like that off. So, they were that young buck team. They were like the Thunder before the Thunder. I call them the
Right.
NBA's version of the Fab Five. Just a young
Right.
group of guys that, other than Horace, all young guys,
Mm-hmm.
and they were just ready to take on the league. And they had a good run. They just couldn't finish it off in the finals.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that team, bro. Like I think that '94, '95 year was so interesting because Mike came back and he was playing baseball. Like I don't think people really understand like how hard of a sport baseball really is. Like you got to
Oh yeah.
transition in between that kind of thing. And he was 17. Last time he played baseball, it was 17. Then he came back when he was 31, bro. And he actually
That,
did like somewhat decent.
yeah, that actually speaks to the competitor that he is. I was sitting there watching, thinking like, this is some gold stuff. Like he literally crossed over the sport he hadn't played in 14 years and was actually able to accept the challenge head on, taking a grueling workout regimen, working on his hitting like they were showing
Right.
4 or 5 different times a day just to get his hitting up, and then be able to come back. I mean, even though
Mm-hmm.
they didn't finish that off that year, for him to go in the Garden and put up 55, just
I was
things
just
like
about to
that, just
ask
to
you
be
that.
able to
What you think
see.
about the double nickel game, bro? I was literally
Man,
about to
that's
ask you that.
one of them games in my childhood I probably never remember just being at the house sitting watching that game on a Sunday.
Right.
So yeah, no, that was just one of the moments you never forget, the double nickel game. As a matter of fact, I don't think I ever heard a 55-point game referred to as the double nickel before
Nah,
MJ.
he's the only one. He's the only one. He's
Yeah,
the only one.
yeah. So it's one of the things
Man,
you won't forget.
I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So like you working in media, and I think
Hmm.
what kind of really stuck out to me was how, and even though social media wasn't available back then, but how like word leaked out that Jordan was going to retire during the White Sox game or a playoff game. What did you think about all that? Because I know I was thinking about the parallels to how both of us working in
Yeah,
media and all that.
I actually I actually thought that was interesting too because I'm sitting here thinking, if the conversation is being had, who had the balls to go leak that immediately?
Right,
Unless it was one of those things that I think that Reinsdorf was saying a press release was getting drafted or that they sent a press release
right.
out.
And they was
And
gonna
so
hold it off
maybe,
to the next day.
yeah, but I guess them saying a press release was announced, people thought that was enough.
Right.
But everybody knew what it was because the rumor had already been up. So it is crazy to see a Woj bomb happen in real time as opposed to
Uh,
Twitter now. Yeah,
and it was crazy. I know another thing that stood out to me was like even though like they that news kind of leaked out, but then the next day they had the press conference and everybody was there, bro.
yeah, that was the
That's how
other thing
much
I
of an
thought about.
icon Jordan was
Well,
at that particular time too.
That's the other thing I thought about. I'm like, okay, I was trying to process what time was this press conference because these people had to get plane tickets. They had
Yeah.
to get because they had all kind of national. I mean, now granted, it was a playoff game, a baseball
Right.
playoff game, so it might have been a lot of national media in town, but those
Right.
personalities had to get in town.
Oh,
That
Tom
was that
Brokaw
was
was out there.
yeah. That's why I'm like,
Tom
what time
Brokaw.
flight? He was probably from New York, I would assume at the time. So for him to
Yeah.
come in from New York, that was just crazy to see.
That's
That was
crazy,
crazy.
bro. Another thing too, man, since we're kind of talking about when MJ kind of retired, that later that season, they had the game against, I think it was game 3 against the Knicks, where obviously Scottie didn't come back in and Tony Kukoc hit the game winner. To me, I mean, that really just spoke volume to Phil how great he was in terms of being able to handle pressure situation that particular time.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I obviously Phil is. I'm glad they actually had that moment because Phil kind of gets underrated and lost in the sauce sometimes because
Mm-hmm.
people think he only did great jobs when everybody was there and everybody was
Exactly.
clicking. And they also didn't point out the Phantom Hugh Hollins foul that happened in that series.
Oh, I
That
forgot
also could
about
have,
that.
yeah, that could have propelled the Bulls. They actually showed a moment where Mike was in the baseball locker room and he goes,
Oh
"That's
yeah,
not a
yeah.
foul." And when he
Mm-hmm.
was like, "That's not a foul," he was speaking to the foul that was called on Scotty. But yeah,
Right.
Phil Jackson did a remarkable job that year. I think the Bulls only won one fewer game than the year before
Right.
when Mike was there. That's something else they didn't kind of point out. But just to show, like, he was able to take that group of guys and run his stuff, to perfection. And the way he got Tony Kukoc,
Mm-hmm.
prepared for a moment like that, most guys would think, okay, we got this foreign kid, the star
Yeah.
players flipping out, that he's going to kind of back down. And he was like, man, this is
Yeah.
what I do. So,
And
it
everybody
was,
held it together too, bro. Which
yeah,
is, like I said, bro, to me, that's amazing coaching. That just kind of speaks volume to the culture, the championship culture that they built at that
yeah,
particular time. So
oh,
since
yeah.
you work at NBA TV, man, like what's some unheard of MJ stories? I know you kind of pick a lot of people's brains. I know you talk to a lot of people. Just give me something that
Yeah.
nobody's ever heard of.
I give you one. I actually give you two. I give you my own story, and then I give you somebody else's. But
Yeah.
working with a mod, I used to always just like be on a mod about Jordan stories. Like I need the Jordan
Mm-hmm.
stories. Give me the MJ stories.
Right.
And he give me cool stories and breaks. But he'd always end the story like, "Man, Kev, he ruined your childhood." So I'd be like, "What you mean? What you mean? What you mean he'll ruin my childhood?" And he'd just be
Yeah.
like, "If I introduced you to him, he'd ruin your childhood." So I was like, "Okay, whatever." So
Right.
one year I'm at the Hall of Fame, and I'm covering the Hall of Fame, and I'm kind of like
Mm-hmm.
sneaking out of the back because it's about to be over, and I'm trying to get out.
Right.
Anybody that's covered the Hall of Fame knows it's small, but it's a lot of people that's there. So if you get a
Right.
chance to get out early, you'll get out. So I'm going out the back way, and I see Mike, and I'm kind of on my phone, and I kind of feel his aura walking up. So I'm like, oh, this is my moment.
Right.
And as I look up, I can hear a mod in my head saying he'll ruin your childhood. So I go, "Hey, Mike," and I say it like soft.
He said real
And Mike,
soft.
yeah, real soft, like, "Hey, Mike." Now I'm thinking like, damn, that was dumb. So Mike kind of turns around. He kind of give me this annoyed, like, who is that? Like, I'm trying to get out of here. Look. And I just kind of put my head down, like, I ain't saying that. That wasn't me. So, that was my one opportunity to meet him, and I
He
never took
played it
advantage
off
of it.
hard. He played
Yeah,
it off.
but got me good. So, but no, it was one story I have heard. Steve Smith told me one time that they were facing off with each other. I don't remember the game or the
Mm-hmm.
circumstance, but Mike scores his first shot. He says 48.
Yeah.
So Smitty's like, what? Get his next shot. He's like 46. Like, what's going on? It took him a minute to realize Mike was counting backwards from 50, telling him, like, I'm finna score 50 on you.
Come
And
on,
I want to
bro.
say ended up with like 48 that night. So,
Come on,
I
bro.
always get crazy stories like that, man. That dude was just a different beast. A
Bro,
different beast.
that's that dude on a different level, bro.
Yeah,
He's on a
that's a
different
different
level,
beast.
bro.
For real.
Hey, so I got two more questions for you. I'll let you go, man. So number
Okay.
one, what's your favorite pair of mics, bro?
You know, and we talked about this earlier. I had to get some mics out, and I was like, man, I don't know, man.
I
The
need that hat
fours,
though. I need
the
that
four. Oh
hat
yeah,
though.
I got you on the hat. But no,
Ooh,
the
I need
fours
that
do it
hat.
for me. The 11s do it for me, man. It's
With
like
the
trying to pick a
Concourse.
favorite
Ooh,
kid, man. But to
ooh. Hey, hold
me,
them up to the screen, bro. Let's see them
can
thing.
y'all
Let
see?
everybody
Yeah,
see them.
yeah, yeah. See what you
Ooh, woo.
see. To me, the fours, man, they just so clean. I never
Hey,
wear them.
them
As you
C-Man
see,
foes, dog.
yeah,
Them
they
C-Man
dead
foes,
stock. I
different
never
story,
wear
bro.
these. But to
Man.
me, it was like when these dropped, it was like some technology I never saw in my life. I'm like patent leather on the shoe, and I think the point of this shoe was that
The
the
tuxedo
retirement you're supposed
suit.
to be able to wear with tuxedos. So I just thought
Mm-hmm.
that was so dope. So I
Yeah,
don't know for sentimental value, these probably my favorites.
yeah.
But these right here, they're just so clean, man. That vintage,
The
do the
C-Man
right
foes, different
thing.
story,
Yeah,
bro.
man, it's just crazy to me.
That's
So.
crazy, bro. All right, man. Last question for you, man. I want you to give yourself a plug for your book and everything, so people know how they can get it or when it's coming out and all that.
Yeah, so please check it out. Just so I can see it. In it's called Bought on Lot. Again, Candace Parker, the great Candace Parker, lent her assist with the forward here. You got 10 great basketball players, legends that's in here. We got a coach's perspective. Like I said, a woman's perspective, players, old, new. But check it out. It's available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com, and also Author House. So if you get a
Man,
chance, check it out. And hit me up on KC on Instagram. Let me know you grabbed it.
hey, hey, man. I'm gonna definitely cop that thing. I get paid this week, bro. You know, I had to buy something for
Oh,
Mother's
I
Day for
know
the
how it
wife. You
goes.
know what I mean?
Got to take care of the moms, man.
Oh yeah,
Got
gotta
to take
take
care
care
of
of
the
them moms,
moms.
bro.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Hey,
Yes,
Cam.
sir.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Yep. All right.
All right, holla at you, man.
Yep.
Yep. All right, y'all. That was Kevin Cottrell from NBA TV. Make sure y'all go cop his book. It's on Amazon and everything. So right now I'm about to get my man CJ Holmes from The Athletic. This is my frat brother, as y'all can see. From here on out, this is the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated edition of Crunch Time. So I'm gonna add CJ here in a little bit. It's my dog right here. CJ, where you at? Where you at?
It's good,
CJ,
Tim.
what's good, boy?
Not much, man. Just chilling, man. Just chilling. You all right?
I'm good, bro. You good?
Good, man. It's good to see you, man.
Hey, it's good to see you. Before we get started, hey, I wanted to let y'all know CJ is one of my favorite people. I met this dude in 2016 in DC at NABJ. One of the guys from ESPN introduced us, and we hit it off right off the map, man. And then, so when I moved to Dallas about 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, wow, which is crazy. I needed a place to stay to get my feet off when I moved because I was broke. I came from LSU and really had too much. I hit up CJ. He was like, bro, you can come crash with me for like the first month. So I did. So anything this dude needs right here, anything from me, I got you, bro. So thank you for hopping on with me, man. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, man. It's all up, man. Even then, bro. Crust in the corner, man. You know?
Man, where my boy Coda at, man?
He over there. He over there in the other room sleeping and everything. Chilling. You know, hair everywhere all over the
Bro,
apartment. You know, the usual.
bro, gotta vacuum that hair up, bro, from that dog, man.
Man, I swear to God, man. I be waking up looking like Santa Claus. You know, white hair all up in my beard and everything,
Yeah,
man. It'd be crazy.
that's crazy, bro. So what you think about the last dance tonight, man?
It was good, man. I mean, every episode of this documentary has been so insightful, especially for people like me who didn't like grow up in the Michael Jordan generation. And I would say, particularly with the first episode, my biggest takeaway was the kind of the media's mishandling of the death of James Jordan, and you saw a little bit of that, a couple months back when Kobe passed.
Right.
These larger than life sports celebrities, sometimes people forget that, these guys are humans. They're human too. They're
Right.
people too. They have emotions. They have to grieve. They have, things they have to work through. And, the media trying to, link it to
This gambling stuff.
James Jordan's death to, gambling and things of that nature. It wasn't right, man. It wasn't right. And you would hope as time went forward, the media would get better stuff like that. But as we saw just recently when Kobe passed, man, it's still like, there's still that issue, man. It's just,
Right.
that's not right, man. That's something that's powerful, means you got to put yourself in Michael Jordan's shoes, here I am trying to, stay focused on the task at hand, which at the time was winning another championship.
Right.
And, you got to answer all these questions and things of that nature that, have nothing to do with the game. And, I can't help but to think that, that was probably part of the reason, part of that probably factored into the reason why, he retired the first time, because, a man can only take so much, even Michael Jordan. You can only take so much mentally and, having to answer all these questions, and that can be tough on a person, man. And then the second thing I really took away from the episode was, when MJ retired. I mean, you would think that, like they said in the documentary, is one of those, where were you when MJ retired moments?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Kobe. Where were you when Kobe Bryant passed away? Or something like that. I mean,
right.
But MJ was just retiring, and just as they show, like, the B-roll of, like, everyone just stopping in the streets and staring
Crying.
at the closest TV they can get to, and tears coming down their eyes. I mean, you would think that there was just a global disaster or something of that nature. That's just really a testament to what Michael Jordan meant to the game, to the city of Chicago, and how heartbreaking it was to see him walk away so early. And I know they're happy he came back.
Bro, well, for those, man, first of all, number one, man, like, you're a great writer. You work for the Athletic out in Arizona, man. You worked your way up, starting from Auburn University, former basketball player right here, by the way. And he worked for Dallas Morning News, and now he's at the Athletic. And so you speaking on, MJ retiring, I was talking to Kev about this earlier before you got on. What stood out to me was how everything kind of leaked out at a baseball game the same night where he threw the first pitch, and then they had the press conference the next day. So you being a former basketball player and a current media guy now, like, how do you think that all that transpired? Like, what do you think, how that would relate to right now? How would that even happen?
I mean, at the time, I just imagine somebody got loose-lipped, In the media, you always want to be first, right? You want to be the first one to break the news, first one to get the news out there, Someone probably just, like you said, they're drafting up a press release, and someone probably heard it, read it a little bit, and just got excited and got it out there, man. And, it's just funny because, like you guys were talking about before, what if Twitter existed during that time? Imagine how wild, the social media landscape would have been around that time. It's just wild to think about.
Bro, I mean, it just really blew my mind because I just imagine, just Twitter just completely just blowing up once they heard that leak, like, oh, MJ about to retire tomorrow. Then, then had the press conference the next day. And what I was talking to Kevin about was, like, how many people were there? Like, Tom Brokaw from NBC was there, bro. Like, out of all people, like, why is he there, bro? You know what I mean? So that kind of spoke to me a little bit, man. So since you kind of grew up after the Jordan era, like, what are your early memories of MJ?
Oh man, see, I was born in '94. I think MJ was playing baseball at that time.
All right, he's rocking the band.
But my first Michael Jordan memory was probably Space Jam, man. Growing up, I went to St. Anthony's Catholic School in Washington D.C. And every Friday we'd have like a movie night, right? And one night they played Space Jam, and that was my first time, really. Learn about who Michael Jordan was and what he was all about.
Right.
And, my grandfather, he worked on Capitol Hill for quite some time.
Right.
And I remember it. I think he got some tickets to a Wizards game. It was one of my first NBA games.
Wow.
So he got tickets to a Wizards game. I think it was Michael Jordan's last year in the league. I don't remember who they were playing. I don't remember, I can't remember the final score or anything like that, but man, it was just so cool to, just to be in the presence of a player like that. And, and that's another thing about Michael Jordan that's always impressed me is how he's always he's always rose to the occasion. You know what I'm saying? Even in those last years, they're like, oh, MJ doesn't have anything left in the tank. He still averaged 20 points per game. Yeah,
and getting his knee drained before every game.
Yeah, and, wish I could have caught, one of his games while he was with the Bulls, but... just the fact that I got to see Michael Jordan once, and my grandpa, went out of his way to give me that experience, man. That means a lot.
Bro. That's dope, bro. So you being out there in Arizona, you covering the Arizona Wildcats and everything. Do Suns fans still kind of talk about that '93 series a little bit at all?
Oh, for sure. I went on a Zoom call with a couple of Suns writers last week when last episode's aired, when they're kind of going through that '93 series with Charles Barkley, and even though it's embarrassing for Suns fans, they don't want to relive that loss. I mean, that was one of the greatest. That's one of the greatest periods in Suns history. The Charles Barkley days, little sweet jerseys, man. And
I like those black warm-up pants, bro, with the white tops.
Oh, they cold. They cold. Woo. They cold, bro. They cold. And But yeah, I mean, it also got Suns fans excited, you know, to be able to see, you know, the Suns included in this documentary. Like I said, it was a reminder of, you know, one of the most successful, you know, periods in the history of that franchise. And,
Yeah,
you know, it was close to getting it done, man. I think it was a game 5 or a game 6.
something like that. Yeah, they went six. They
You
went
know, had
six.
a big lead late. Here
Yeah,
comes Jordan, man. Here comes
He
Jordan down
dropped
the
like
stretch.
20 something in the fourth quarter, then hit
Something
got
like that. But here
action.
comes Jordan, man, and with his will to win, and they
Yeah,
couldn't stop him down the stretch. And on that last offensive possession, they so worried about Jordan, they leave Paxton wide open on the wing.
yep.
3 ball goes down. That's your
Knockdown.
series, man.
Yeah,
But you can't but help but to think, you know, what if that Paxton shot rims out, or you know, what if they don't blow that lead in the first place? You
mm-hmm.
know, I mean, MJ's legacy could look a little different. That Suns team, man, it was tough.
Man, make or miss league, which kind of turned into a make or miss career. Because, you know, a lot of basketball determines a lot of people's careers, going from even Charles to, you know, somebody like Clyde Drexel ended up getting a ring down the road, but at the same time, you know, he got denied twice in the finals by the Bulls and the Pistons, you know what I mean? So, I mean, that's just how that thing goes. So, here's a question that's kind of been, you know, a hot topic for everybody on Twitter and social media and everything. Would Jordan be able to average 40 in today's game?
Man, I don't know about 40. You know, Jordan is arguably, you know, the greatest scorer this game's ever seen. I don't
Yeah,
know about 40, man. You got guys like James Harden, LeBron James. You know, they're not even getting 40 tonight.
right.
I still think that Jordan would be effective. I mean, just because of his athleticism, that first step, the way he can shoot the ball, create for
Right.
himself and others. Still think he would have been like, I still think he would have been just as good, you know, in this generation. But 40, nah, I think, you know,
Yeah,
anywhere
that's too
between
much.
I think anywhere between like 25 to 35 is more realistic.
Yeah. So, bro, you being a former player, you kind of, like I said earlier, you have like a different lens when it comes to like viewing basketball. What about Jordan's game stood out to you the most, or what people don't really talk about? Is it his footwork? Is it his back to the basket game? Like, what kind of stood out to him? Just you just kind of study him and all that.
It's just the work ethic, you know, the attention to detail. In terms of like specific traits in Jordan's game, man, it's just how he's able to float, man, not jump, not fly, but like,
Yeah.
man, this man was just able like to float to the rim, to be able to get off his feet and contort his body and still
Right.
finish over defenders. You know, I was watching, you know, some of the highlights in the documentary. There's this one play where he's backing the dude down, you know, hits him with the little shimmy, pump fakes, gets him up in the air, and this man like triple pumps in midair and still gets the shot to go. I mean, no one's making shots like that, that level of degree of difficulty these days. I mean, Jordan was the ultimate shot maker. You know what I'm saying? When it came to tough shots. And another thing that was kind of highlighted in these 2 episodes is just Jordan's competitive nature. You know, like the way he was able to challenge his teammates in practice. You know,
Right.
people outside of the game will look at that and be like, "Oh, Jordan's an asshole. You know, why is he talking to him like that?" And
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You never want it to get to the point, you know, like it did with Steve Kerr where it gets physical.
Right.
But you need a guy like Jordan in your locker room if you want
Yeah.
any hopes of being a successful team. Preferably, you want 2 guys like Jordan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just need a guy that's going to light that fire. You know, Jordan held himself to a certain standard,
Right.
and that's why he was so great. And you know, all he was trying to do was get his teammates to come up to his level. You know what I'm saying? Raise the level of competition, raise the bar in practice. Just like what he said.
Right.
You know, if you don't prepare and practice, you know, like you're in the war, you're not going to be able to handle the pressure in the trenches once it comes.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it might have been embarrassing at the time, you know, especially having all those cameras. You know, you sitting here trying to practice, Jordan grilling you and cooking you in practice. You got these cameras on you and everything. It's embarrassing at the time, but just like some of his teammates said in the documentary, they look back on it years later and be like, man, that's what it takes to win. You know, it's a mentality. It's the same kind of mentality that you see from a lot of the game's greats, you know, especially, you know, guys like Kobe Bryant, man. That Mamba mentality, it started with Jordan.
Oh, yeah. Complete carbon copy. Straight carbon copy. Hey, y'all, this is CJ Holmes from The Athletic. Jason Jones said Michael Jordan was hazing him. So, with his reason why I'm wearing this fresh shirt, you wearing yours, and I got the pat on the back with the, you already know, with the Jordan poster back there, man. So, speaking of Jordan, man, like, what's your favorite pair of mics, man? I know you a low key sneakerhead. You ain't got too many, but you got some heavy.
Man, I used to. Funny story, man. When I was a freshman in college at Auburn, I had a teammate named KT Urel. You know, one of my closest friends to this day.
Right.
But, you know, when I first met him, I didn't really know him all that well. He was a guy that was very, like, you know, kind of intimidating. You know, he didn't really say much. And I remember one afternoon, it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm laying in my dorm room.
Yeah.
I get a knock on my door. It's KT, and I used to keep all my J's under the bed, right? Had them all, man. Olympic 7s, Raptor 7s,
I need the
Bread
Olympic
11s.
7s in my life, bro. I need the 7s in my life, bro.
The Olympic Jones, man. I had them all, bro. And, you know, KT kind of come in, knocks on the door, looks under my bed. He's like, bro, how much you want for them Olympic 7s? And, you know what I'm saying? This is a big, swole dude. You know what I'm saying? He a shooting guard built like a linebacker. You know what I'm saying? I guess I was feeling the pressure. Ended up selling him the shoes, and next thing I knew, there was a line of my teammates coming in trying to buy shoes. Next time I ain't had no J's at all. But if you're gonna ask me what my favorite J's are, man, my favorite J's of all time gotta be the cement threes, boy.
Threes, boy.
They just clean, man. Got the leather on them, leather little concrete effect they got right there at the bottom, man.
Listen, bro.
These are my favorite J's of all time. Then close second, man. Any of the 11s, man. Any of the 11s, man. Got my Concourse right here.
You're the second person that got them. Kev had them on last one. You saw.
Hey, man, you can't be a sneakerhead and not have a Concourse, man, or any type of kind of 11s, man. Breads, anything of that nature. But
I want to get the Space Jams, bro, or the Gammas.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get my hands on either one of those before, man. If I get my hands on the Gammas, I think I'll be in the game. But you know, as long as it's quarantine rolling, man, I can't get no kicks, man. I ain't trying to get on sneakers.com and everything.
See, man, like
that.
I got these Concourse last year when I was up in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I ain't gonna say any names, but one of the members of the media, he also flipped shoes on the side. So he walked up to me after the Cardinals press conference. Hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? I give them to you for the low.
Right.
So, you know, they're half a size too small, but I had to do it. And the Concord threes, I don't really buy sneakers a lot these days, but every time, not the Concord threes, the cement threes, every time the cement threes come out, regardless of the condition of my current pair, I always buy another pair, man. That's my favorite. That's my favorite days of all time.
I know when I was living with you, bro, I think you said you had bought like 2 or 3 of the same pair at one time. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm
cements,
gonna buy
bro.
one pair, and I'm gonna keep it right as long as I can. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's the thing about sneakers, man. Like, I used to have all these shoes, and like, I didn't want to get them creased. I didn't want to get them dirty or anything like that. So they just be, you know, sitting in my closet gathering dust in the box. And I'm just like, why am I spending $250 on a pair of shoes all the time? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I ain't even wearing them. So I kind of chilled out on the sneakers these days. But I still keep some heat in my closet. You know what I'm saying?
I need to get like you, bro. Hey, CJ, man, thank you so much for hopping on with me, man. Just tell the people where they can follow you and read all your work at, bro, before you get out.
And, man, you guys can find me at theathletic.com, covering the Arizona Wildcats. Check us out. It's not just me, but, you know, you got guys like Jason Jones, who's also on the call. A whole bunch of fantastic writers. You know, my opinion, the best long-form journalism you can find, man. So check us out.
All right, bro. Hey, CJ, I holler at you, dog. Thank you, man, so much, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, man, always a pleasure. Thanks for having me, G.
Yep. All right, y'all. Shout out to CJ. That's my dog right there. I got another Omega brother about to hop on. Darren Haynes from WUSA 9 out of Washington, D.C. That's my dog right here. I'm going to go ahead and add him on right now. Where you at? Where you at, Darren? Boom. Hey, big bro, what's good?
Nah, dog. Nah, bruh. What year you cross?
Spring 08. No, you ain't about to haze me on my
What year CJ cross? What year CJ cross? Who knows? 2015, 14? Bro, 03, man. You got me waiting here.
Bro, you said you had to work. That's why I had you on last.
There you go. My man, listen. That's why
I got you. Hey, this my man. Hey, quick story, y'all, before we get into this before we get to this last dance, man. So the first time
I wasn't playing, team. You good. Let's go.
So Darren, right? So I met Darren at my first NABJ. Come on, dog. I met Darren at my first NABJ 2008 in Chicago. And me and my LB Rick, shout out to Rick. I know he's listening. He's watching right now. And we was hopping to Atomic Dog and with Atomic Joyner. Then you came out of nowhere, bro. You set that thing out, bro. I'm like, man, who this dude, man?
My church shoes were never the same, bro. That stuff things up, man.
Bro, I love you. Thank you for hopping on with me, man. Appreciate you, man.
No doubt, team.
Hey man, so what you think about tonight with The Last Dance?
Man, it's just always good. The only thing I dislike about, I don't want to say I dislike it, but what was tough to watch. I'm a Northeast dude,
Right,
die hard New York Knicks to the day I die.
right.
And the thing about it, my dad's from the South Side of Chicago, so it was my brother and I who were big Knicks fans, and
He's
then
Bulls fan.
we had to always hear this trash talk,
Right.
trash talk, and then all of a sudden Jordan retires, and we're like, okay, this our time, and then we used to rock.
Yeah.
So it's like we never had that moment to celebrate a championship while my dad was literally just like, "Yep, I told you, son. I told you, son." Playing us, like consistently playing us. But now, yeah, man, it's and the other part about it, man, and I'm gonna speak probably a little bit different because I was hearing some of the other stories, but there's different personal stories for me because I grew up in the Jordan era. I didn't have a basketball hoop. I went to my neighbor's yard who had a basketball hoop and would try Michael Jordan's moves and stuff like that. But like, I'm also from Connecticut, diehard UConn fan.
Yeah.
And Scott Burrell is a dude who we grew up in the same hometown. His sister was my middle school principal. And bruh, why he gotta be the dude to get punked? like you know what I'm saying? Like
but he took it though. He was chilling with it.
Nah, bro. Bro, listen, if it was B.J. Armstrong, it would be a little bit different. It was Steve Kerr, it would have been a little bit different. It's Michael Jordan, you got to take it.
Yeah.
But bro, I'm like, dang, man, you make me look bad.
Yeah.
But man, there's a lot of moments, even when Jordan retired.
Yeah.
The first time, like I remember I was at this I was in middle school and I was at this camp where you go there for like a week. It was learn about nature. I think it was called Nature's Workhouse or something like that.
Right.
And I remember being in the lunchroom and hearing that Jordan retired, and like it blew my mind. It was just
wow.
I don't want to compare it because you're two different things. Like Kobe when he passed away, but it was one of the dramatic moments. Like,
wow. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I remember I was 13 years old. I was a grown man.
Yeah.
So I thought, CJ wasn't even born yet. Bro, I'm hazing the bros, man.
You are, though. It's all good, though. You got it.
Wait, why is your water clear, man?
Hey, man, I got this Walmart brand. That's why. Hey, so I know a couple things that stood out to me. I wanted to ask you, man. Number one, man, what do you think about Jordan and his baseball career? To me, it was so great because number one, he had the guts to try it. Number one, and number two, it was therapeutic for him. And number three, this dude, they said he started off with a 13-game hitting streak and ended up with 50 RBIs. And then they said he batted like 202. Like, how great do you think that was, man, for him to even attempt that and pull that off?
So, all right. So one, I don't remember really like keeping track of his baseball career back then because I just wasn't the biggest baseball fan. But I do remember watching clips and stuff of him playing baseball. But what I do remember is the time where that's when they started hitting him with the sliders and the off-speed pitches.
Yeah.
I do remember that. I mean, a guy like Michael Jordan who's competitive and still competitive to this day,
right?
Where he needs to find his fit on what he can be competitive in. I mean, it makes sense for him, but I don't think Michael Jordan. Suppose if there was never a lockout, like would Michael Jordan ever make it to Major League Baseball? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
But we will never know. I mean, this is Michael Jordan talking about. Nah, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. So, and another thing too, man. Like, now I asked my two previous guests about this, and I really want to ask you this since you're a sports director out of DC at WUSA 9. You know, how do you think you would have handled, all that stuff when, like, he threw out the first pitch of that playoff game at Comiskey Park, and then it kind of leaked around, like, oh, he's going to retire, and they're going to have the press conference tomorrow. Like, I want to kind of, like, how you would have did that?
Bro, you saw the clip where the media was trying to get into the press box?
Yeah. That would have been you.
That would have been me. I would have got on my other phone, and I would have been, hey, man, I would have pulled every single string to try to get.
You would have pulled the frat card on that, bro.
bro, you need more. You need a frat card, Jesus card, anything. Like I will find a way to get into that building to try to get any particular interview. I have this thing called kissing babies, man, and what I do is I go to different places, and I'm just nice to people in general, but I'm nice to people on purpose to see how they're doing, players and stuff like that. I call it kissing babies, as in building that rapport with them, because you never know when you may need those particular people. So all those babies I would have kissed in that ballpark, yeah, you bet, like that would have been my hookup to try to get something out of Jordan.
Right. So do people still talk about Jordan out there in DC since he played for the Wizards? They still
Now,
talk about that?
I mean, yes and no, a lot more now, obviously, because the documentaries out and stuff like that. A lot of people kind of talk more about how he sort of ruined the franchise.
Yeah.
I think he had a part with like the part to do with the drafting of Kwame Brown.
Yeah.
Like, Kwame Brown was a bust.
Right.
And then I know one of our reporters did a story in regards to like what his Wizards teammates thought of him. Right. And it was consistent where like they grew up loving Michael Jordan, but playing with him was just
the worst. I know Stackhouse was very vocal about that.
It was the worst. But like I remember before this documentary came out, Jordan was like, a lot of people were gonna dislike me after this. Bro, I got more respect for Jordan, like 100 more respect, just because he had a simple focus, like he wanted to win a championship. And not everybody has that mental capacity. I know for me, I go out all out every single day. His was probably times 20, and I wish I had. So when you have a guy who wins all those championships, bro, I'm not gonna like he who he wants to be. He knows how to win. If you don't like it, go play for the Clippers or the Sacramento Queens. At that time, you know what I'm saying?
That's what Shaq called him, right? Shout out to Jason listening right now. So how do you think it would have been to cover MJ as a sports director back then, man? Like, I know you're number one, you're very creative with your stuff. That's number one. Number two, you worked on Sports Center, so hey. Hey.
See, I gotta get the mindset like to think of the athletes that I cover now, like the big ones. If you look at the Wizards, like, and this is not on no bragging tip, like John Wall's in my phone. Adrian Peterson's in my phone.
Darius Geis. Shout out to D. Geis.
Oh, Darius Geis is in my phone. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he got to LSU.
Yeah.
But, like, my thing is maybe Jordan would have been tougher to build that connection with. I just don't do my stories like everybody else. I'm just like one of the boys, like Ahmad Rashad was to Jordan. Maybe I would have built that type of rapport with Michael Jordan like Ahmad Rashad did. Of course, I wasn't covering – he didn't play for the Wizards as long as he played for the Bulls, and Ahmad Rashad was just well-established guy at that time.
Right.
But I know I wouldn't be one of those a-hole reporters that just stick a mic in your face every now and then and never ask like how you do, how's the family and stuff like that. That wouldn't be me.
Man, I just know it would have been wild, man. Just like especially like just covering like everything what he did in terms of like,
bro,
go ahead.
I forgot. I don't ask for autographs at all in this business unless you're like supreme. So like Adrian Peterson, boy, hook me up because that's Adrian Peterson.
Man, shout out to AP, man.
Hey, Jordan, man. Jordan would have been one of those dudes where I had to go to him and be like, bro, I can't do it now here in the locker room, but like,
yeah, like later, like we frat.
Yeah, at that community event you have.
Yeah,
that little
just slide me something real quick. Yeah, just slide me something, Rick. I could definitely see you doing that, man. So, what's your favorite pair of Jordans, man? I know your dress game is is like on 100, but I know you got some gym shoes on you, bro. What you got, man?
Bro, I'm gonna shock you with this one, man.
Okay, what you got?
I never bought a pair of Jordans ever in my life.
You never bought them, or you never had a pair? That's the difference.
Never had a pair. Never had a pair. Bro, first of all, I was broke as a joke growing up. Yeah. And I remember, well, see, you may be too young, but the Nike pumps came out. You used to have like the ball on the tongue.
I thought those were Reeboks.
Reebok, whatever. See, I never had a pair. But I remember my mother buying me these shoes that just had a basketball on them. I used to go to school to pretend like, nah, these are different joints. Like pretending they were pumps. So I never had those. And I never had Jordans growing up. And as I just grew up, I always just looked at it like I went straight from broke to being in the broadcasting game, and I was buying them more on the church shoes than actual Jordans. I never grew to have like a pair of Jordans. Now, don't get me wrong. If my wife surprised me with a gift for Jordans and stuff like that, and they don't, I will wear them. But
we gotta talk
man.
to the wife. We gotta get you a pair, man. Or we gonna holler at CJ. CJ gonna put you on with something.
Y'all can send me some Jordans, but what I'm not about to do is spend mad money for no Jordans. Or I'm not gonna wait outside no line where some people be shooting and killing these days.
Hey man, it's easy. Just go to the app. You got to go. I'll send you some apps when we get done.
Give me, bruh. What I can pay for the Jordans, man. I can buy my wife a nice steak and lobster dinner, bro, from a good restaurant. And at the end of the day, the household is happy, and I don't need no shoes because I'm laying down.
Hey, this bro. You're a fool, man. You're a fool. Hey, y'all, this is Darren Haynes from WUSA 9 out of Washington, D.C. My fellow Omega brother, man, Darren, man. So, how do you think episodes 9 and 10 are going to kind of play out, man? I'm, like, really excited about seeing how they're going to finish that out.
Yeah, see, I don't know, because you always think you saw it all, but then all of a sudden they hit you with something else. I mean, we know they're going to win the championship. I mean,
right.
Like, we know what's going to happen. What we don't know is the stuff that goes on behind closed doors, like the Gary Payton thing, where he's just like, oh,
the glove,
enjoy
the glove.
Bro, Jordan, the way Jordan laughed at him, bro.
It's like laughed at my man.
So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's next, man? It's always something new, and so that's why I'm anticipating, like, whatever these next episodes are gonna bring, man. I'm excited for it. It's must see TV, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to kind of see how they kind of document the end, the two Jazz series, because I'm not sure if Stockton was interviewed or Karl Malone, anybody, from those particular teams.
I don't think I've seen Stockton or Karl Malone.
I haven't seen nobody from the Jazz teams, not even Greg Ostertag. I mean, I would like to see Brian Russell since he got the last shot hit on him. That would be pretty dope. But I don't know. I just want to see how because we pretty much caught up. Like they caught up from everything back in. So right now they had 90. They just finished up 96. So they got 97 and 98. So I want to see how they'll be able to squeeze the last 2 years into those last two episodes. I think it'll be great to see how that thing turns out, man.
I think that's kind of what they've been doing. Sort of like, they could.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens, bro. Hey, Big D, man. Thank you so much for hopping on with me, man. Appreciate you, big bro.
No doubt, homie.
All right, man. I'll holler at you. Rude up. All right, y'all. That was Darren Haynes from WUSA 9 out of Washington, D.C. Sports director out there, former ESPN Sports Center anchor. That's a wrap for episode 3, man. I want to appreciate y'all for hopping on with me. It was a good time, obviously. Had my man Kevin Cottrell from NBA TV. Make sure y'all go cop his book and everything entitled Ball Don't Lie right on Amazon. Make sure you look that up. What's up, Rab? What's going on? What's up, Steph? What's up, Will? You know what I mean? And I had my man CJ Holmes hop on. That's my dog. That's my little bro right there, man. I'm always going to look out for him. And I had my guy Darren Haynes hop on, man. So episode 4 is next week. Same time, same place, man. Once again, I want to thank y'all for hopping on with me for Crunch Time. So next week will be my last week. So after that, I want to see, what I'm still kind of brainstorming, see how I'm gonna carry this thing over. And I hope y'all enjoying this, man. Seriously, man. I'm just trying to sharpen my skills out here and just trying to do this IG live thing. So for my guests, man, and for me, I want to thank y'all. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Y'all be easy. Enjoy the last dance, and I'll holler at y'all next week. Appreciate y'all.